Welcome to another installment of the APB recap. For this recap, I'm gonna move the sponsors and credits all the way to the end. So from now on, you're gonna enjoy the recaps with all the hooplas from the start all the way to the finish. Without further ado, let's get started. While Japan is known for their great fictional content, they're also known to be incredibly overprotective over their intellectual properties, like Nintendo or a lot of big anime corporations. This right here is among one of the many instances of Japan's copyright insanity. So an artist received a copyright takedown because the patterns of their Nintendo Joy-Con skin resemble the patterns of the outfits of the Demon Slayer characters, particularly Tanjiro and Zenitsu's outfit. That's right, you get copy strike for having patterns that resemble what the characters are wearing in the anime. That would imply that colors or patterns are copyrighted. Well, are they? Surprise, surprise! No, they're not. The funny thing is, Shueisha, the company that owns Demon Slayer's IP, actually tried to appeal a trademark over the patterns a while back. Yes, you heard that right. They tried to trademark colors and patterns. They tried and failed to appeal a trademark over the patterns and the colors, and yet they still copy strike anyways. But that's not even the best part. The best part is their reasoning behind the trademark. The patent office said that the pattern doesn't extend the regular usage use as a decorative pattern on clothing, but Shueisha said, well, it has rectangles and squares and black borders. Granted, their appeal was from 2021, which was 3 years ago. Jeez, I'm old. But hey, I guess in current year, they have successfully done it. They have successfully trademarked patterns. Either that or they actually have no right to do this, but they did it anyway. Like I said, Japan made some absolutely great stuff, but their copyright laws will always be absolute garbage. And this time, even colors and patterns are not safe. Speaking of anime, there is a line between the insecure about their feeling tsundere and crazy psychotic yandere. And yes, the tsundere-yandere hybrids are starting to appear in real life as well, or at least get noticed more thanks to the power of the internet. And the best way to deal with these people is the same way you deal with tsunderes in general. Ditch them to be with someone else. When the man I rejected 115 times posts his new girlfriend. Yes, that's exactly what happens when you reject someone for 115 times! Now, to be fair, the dude has got to be really freaking hopeless to ask this girl out for 115 times. I think by your second or third attempt, you should just pretty much give up. But it gets even worse when the girl actually likes the guy, but she doesn't want to admit it. As in, a tsundere. Now, I know that the girl is a broad and the guy is a moron. You know what? Maybe you two really deserve each other. It's not help when other broads decide to make bizarre justifications on why broads do this. At the beginning, it was annoying that guy liked girl, not flattering, unless she's been rejected and miserable her whole life. It's almost as if not every girl has a good luck in their romantic life or something. You see, a girl likes to feel special. If a guy comes up in her world and suddenly likes her, she doesn't feel special because he doesn't know enough of her. That implies that guys confess to you based on your looks rather than your personality, which still doesn't dismiss how those guys are idiots and you're a broad. But apparently, according to this broad, the best way to make the romance to work is for the girl to reject the guy, then the girl get to know the guy by observing him. In other words, stalk him. A yandere. And then the girl wait for the guy to confess back so that now the confession is a lot more manly because he actually meant it this time. I mean, yes, that guy's desperate for romance, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that you too are also desperate for romance. At least the guy admits to it, whereas you don't want to admit it. You put this guy on trial in the most dishonest possible way. Oh, the girl needs to know the guy a little bit more before they can make that decision to reject him or not. That's called putting them on trial, which is perfectly fine if you're honest and upfront about it. But you're not, which makes you the worst type of tsundere. Oh, and you're also bordering on yandere when you reject the guy and then observe him after the rejection.
Jesus Christ, is that all you people do?
Twitter's management goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and some people are already making some bizarre ideas for the website. This one, for example, suggests that Twitter should remove the bookmark sidebar in favor of, hear me out here, offers. As in ads. More ads. Because clearly we haven't gotten enough of them already. It should be ads that people want to actually look at because people find cool stuff in there. Show of hands, how many times on the internet you look at an ad and think, wow, that is cool? I honestly can't recall the last time I've ever said that. That's why I have ad blockers, and I encourage all of you to have one as well. So I don't know why you think this implementation is anything but stupid. Andrew Tate. For some reason, Andrew Tate is a very popular figure among young people, including my students. Don't worry, I have properly disciplined them. In case you don't know who Andrew Tate is, well, let's have the man speak for himself. According to the website, he is a retired 4 times world champion kickboxer who is now a multi-millionaire. He's apparently the most competent person on the entire planet to teach you, yes, you, about male to female interactions. Yes, he's actually offering online courses in how to interact with women. For a price. Yes, it is a complete freaking scam because the women that he got are actually incredibly low quality, and I can show you why. In his website, he says that he's running a webcam studio for over a decade. He has over 75 girls working for him, and over 50% of his employees were his girlfriends at the time, and none of them were in the adult entertainment industry before they met him. You know, that's not really a good thing to brag about, right? Especially if you have an audience of people that think that girls who make adult content are, you know, hoes! And now you're telling us that these hoes are even more low quality because half of them used to date you at some point, and those people are willing to be employed by you while they see you snog other girls. Your ex-girlfriends are watching you dating your new girlfriends who would eventually become your ex anyways. And you're telling me that these girls are high quality. What kind of self-respecting girl would let something like that? If the gender is reversed, what kind of self-respecting guy would let something like that? But hey, it gets worse. His job was to get women to fall in love with him. Or more accurately, get more hosts for his webcam studio. I love how he says that sleeping with her is to test if she is quality. Dude, the fact that they're willing to sleep with you is a solid proof that they are low quality. Even more so if they're willing to sleep with you in your first night. My girlfriends would do more for me than 99.9% of men's wives would do for them. Yeah, because you paid them to do it. There's a financial incentive for it. Also, apparently, coerce them to do it and abuse them to do it, or at least based on the allegations. My girlfriend is willing to do more for me than 99.9% of your hoes are willing to do for you. And that would still be true even if she's completely made up. That is my skill to extremely efficiently get women in love with me. Andrew, you're rich. You have 4 girlfriends, and a lot of your exes work at your webcam studio. These girls don't love you out of genuine feeling. And if you think they do, you're deluding yourself. Do you have a girl who completely trusts your decision, will do anything you say, and loves you deeply? Yes. You don't. If your answer is yes, I guarantee 90% of you are lying to yourselves. Says the guy who said that the girls that he hired for his webcam studio actually genuinely love him. Read the question again. Understand what I mean when I say anything. Okay, since you ask, I read the question back. Do you have a girl who completely trusts your decisions? Oh, I see what you mean, Andrew. You don't want a strong, independent romantic partner that challenge you and question your decisions. You want a completely submissive girl that will bow to your every will, even if your will is completely idiotic. That's not a romantic partner, Andrew. That's a slave or an employee, if you're willing to pay them. And you wonder why he's charged and arrested for human trafficking allegations. But then things get even funnier when he gets into Twitter and picks fights with Greta Thunberg of all people. Yes, the climate change activist girl. They got into a fight with Greta calling him small dick energy. To which Andrew replied, "How dare you?" Andrew, you do realize that when she said that, she looks really angry. And when you said that as a reference to her saying that, I only picture you looking as angry as her. And of course, he gets arrested for human trafficking charges and also allegations of abuse. Everybody has heard of this one. I mean, after reading what he promised to deliver on his website, I'm not really that surprised. The guy also admits to employing girls for his webcam studio, and he also admits that half of them used to be his ex. I mean, what kind of self-respecting women would be willingly employed by their ex-boyfriend while they see their ex-boyfriend bang 4 girls at the same time? Either she's being handsomely paid for it, or she's being abused for it. Speaking of small dick energy, this hoopla is definitely gonna get me demonetized, especially thanks to YouTube's new stupid rules, but I'll take the challenge anyway. A very weird take that appears in social media last month is people defending small dicks. No, I'm not kidding. That's a real thing. The first one that I didn't include in my previous recaps was this guy who said this. Just read it yourself. It's pretty funny. Yes, apparently guys who have a big dick means that they're dumb, but guys who have small dick means that they're not dumb. And apparently that also means they have aristocrat blood. What I find very funny about this tweet is that Grimes, Elon Musk's ex-wife, liked the tweet. I mean, I do agree that there is a correlation between big dicks and big ego, and I do agree that having a big dick doesn't necessarily mean that you perform well in bed, but there's no way in this world you can convince people that a small dick is a good thing. I'm sorry, but most people are just programmed to believe that a small dick is bad, even if it's not true. It's like six-packs. People are programmed to think having a six-pack means that you're strong and healthy when it's actually not, but people still believe that notion anyway. The thing about people is that they don't tend to be swayed with facts, and they don't tend to be swayed by your actual arguments. Just because your argument is true doesn't mean that people will believe you. So when you're arguing about something, you have to also take into account not just your arguments, but how it made you look saying all of that. Defending small dicks make you look like a moron. Either that or someone who has insecurities about their dick size. I think Trevor from GTA 5 said it best.
Mine ain't nothing special, but this boy gets the job done.
And speaking of women being submissive, let's talk about this really bizarre take. Biggest red flag is when a girl is quote-unquote based. Based in this context means she's red-pilled, as in she's leaning more right-wing than left-wing. Why is that bad? Well, I thought that the person would be like, oh, the women are right-wing and red, therefore it's not left-wing and blue, therefore it's bad. No, it's so much worse. You want your girl to be innocent and naive, ignorant about how the world truly works. That's right, a red-pilled girl is bad because she's not a completely blank slate that you can just override with anything you like. The girl should have no opinion. She should have a blank look and not much to say. Are you for real?
Are you mad? Are you mad?
I mean, I get the appeal of girls who are naive and still learning about the whole world. A lot of girls in anime are like that. In fact, a lot of the very popular girls in anime are just like that. And I also get the appeal of teaching these blank slate girls about your worldview. But the real world doesn't work that way. And if you believe that the real world works that way, that only makes you look like a manipulative bastard. For God's sake, we live in a world where kids know more about adult stuff than their parents do. It's a horrifying world, no thanks to the internet, but a world that we live in nonetheless. It's very, very hard to find someone that innocent in the real world. Thank you, internet, for robbing people off of their innocence and avoiding them to be trapped by manipulative bastards like this. The Last of Us is about to get a live-action adaptation, and apparently this live-action adaptation is more special than anything else. When you're playing, when you die, you get sent back to checkpoint. Have you actually played The Last of Us, creator of The Last of Us adaptation? There are so many characters where this statement literally does not apply, which in the case of The Last of Us, it's unfortunate that some characters don't get a freaking permanent death. That's still very funny. Should have cut to the end credits right there. But what baffles me the most is how a bunch of people stated that this video game adaptation will put the video game adaptation curse to bed. Arcade, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Castlevania, the first few seasons at least, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic Prime, Sonic X. Actually, hot take, Sonic in general is better as cartoons than as video games. And I love the fact that people just forgot that the whole freaking Pokemon anime are based on the video games. The most culturally influential anime of all time. So culturally influential that they even celebrate the main character winning the World Championship after 25 years is a video game adaptation. Oh, and Detective Pikachu. It's almost as if video game adaptations are bad because it's made by people who want to cash in on the games rather than out of genuine passion. These two are some of the most bizarre takes that I've ever heard in my entire life. Funny enough, most anime is not aimed at hormonal teenage boys.
Are you mad? Are you mad?
But mangakas and animators love to perpetuate that myth so that they can get away with extremely yikes stuff. Extremely yikes stuff? Kid, you're better off of the internet or the anime fandom in general because this place is clearly not for you. And yes, mangakas and animators love to perpetuate that myth because it's not a myth. Most people who like anime are boys. That's just a fact. And to illustrate that fact, we have this tweet. Having the fandom of a shonen anime you actually like be majority male is truly the pits. Having the fandom of shonen be majority male. It's literally on the word. It's literally there. Shonen.
Come on now, don't get angry. Don't get angry. It's just a stupid NPC.
And that is all for the recap today, guys. This recap wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. And of course, thank you so much for all of you wonderful people who have donated to me. You guys are fantastic. If you want to see your names among these awesome people, then check out the links down below where you can donate through many means, just $1, and you'll see your names right there. Again, links down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the APB channel, link down below as well. And I'll see you all in the next one.